I was on stage playing piano while my pastor's wife was talking, and she said, "Thank you, Nina." And I had no idea what she was trying to say, but apparently I had to stop playing. Hey, I'm Nina Neski, and I'm answering your questions today, questions that you guys emailed to me, and they are all about piano. And this is part one, where I'm going to be sharing experiences about the piano, and then part two will be when I'll actually get to the piano and answer your questions and show you little tricks. So that will be part two. Stay tuned for that. And for part one, I'll just answer them question by question. So the first one is, has anything ever gone wrong while playing in front of people, and when did you start playing? So yes, I have had a lot of weird experiences playing in front of people, and this one that I shared at the very beginning of the video was actually probably my most awkward situation on stage, because I was playing piano and my pastor's wife was speaking, and then in the middle of her speech, she just told me "Thank you, Nina." And I was just like, "Oh, that's so kind." And I just kept playing. And then I was like, wait a minute. It was so funny because on stage, it was almost like time was going slow motion. And I was like, why did she say thank you in the middle of her speech? And so that's when I realized she wanted me to stop playing. I guess I was just playing a little bit too much. And so I just withered away, started playing really quietly. But after that, I was really just bummed. I was like, what did I do wrong? And actually that specific experience led me to just reach out to the most random people and ask them for help, and please show me what I can play that it'll sound simple and pretty, like background music, and not because I think I was doing a lot of while she was talking, and that's what you're not supposed to do. And actually, from all my learning experiences, I put all that together in the piano ministry course, what to play when someone is speaking, just because I had to go through all those uncomfortable situations. You don't have to. That's why I love sharing this information. And then when did I start playing? So I started playing when I was really young, but I didn't have any formal music education. So when I started learning chords was when I was about 12 years old. But it sounds fancy and all, but it wasn't, because I think I only knew the C chord, the F chord, and the G chord. I think those are the only chords that I knew. And so I only knew a couple of songs, and it wasn't until I was 16 when I really dug into chords and started playing piano at the church as a ministry and stuff like that. So I started playing when I was really young, but it wasn't until later when I really started learning about all the chords, all the minors and majors. I never knew minors and majors even existed when I was 12. So someone just shared with me that they used to watch my tutorials by memorizing each key to press. And then after they learned about chords and minor and major chords, their life completely changed because they were able to play any song, which I think is really cool. So the next question is, what's your favorite singer and favorite worship song? Oh my goodness, I actually did not prepare for these questions. I'm gonna say right off the bat, my favorite worship song will probably be, this is gonna be an old song, okay? But it has been the one that's just on my mind lately a lot. And it's Open the Eyes of My Heart, Lord. I don't know, I've been bringing it back and singing it more and more often, in my worship sets. And I really love the song just because everybody knows it. And it's the perfect song to open any worship session with. You just sing it and everyone's automatically singing, and it's really upbeat. It's to see you high and lifted up. It's just, there's some kind of energy to it, and I really love it. I feel just opening our eyes up and seeing who he truly is. It's just a great song. And then what the other part of that question was, favorite singer. And I guess I'm gonna come, there is another question of what your favorite band is, Christian worship band. And I would say that United Pursuit is my favorite. And I like the singers there and stuff, but most importantly, my favorite part about United Pursuit is the piano. I don't know if you guys ever heard their songs, but the piano there like is just absolutely stunning. Like there's this song, it's called Seasons Change, and if you listen to the piano in that song, it's just blows my mind every time. Every time. I love how they play the piano. How's the jazz piano coming along? I remember hearing you say you wanted to learn a while back during a live stream. Yes, so I've before you guys asked what I wanted to improve in piano, and that was to learn the jazz style. And unfortunately, I haven't learned much, but I did learn a couple of songs that are jazz style, and I learned to kind of transition those jazzy chords. I feel like there's a little bit of progress there, but I also got into hymn playing, like how to play hymns. So that has been a new piano style that I've been learning, like accompanying, like group singing, which is really fun. I'm gonna share more about that later. But yeah, jazz is slowly. I think around Christmas time, I always try and learn a Christmas song with the jazz style, but I guess there's not many places where I could play jazz anyways, so I'm kind of not like pursuing it like super much. Okay, next question. Any practice methods or exercises for beginning piano worship leaders? Also for people who are strictly interested in learning worship piano, what's your opinion on theory? Is it necessary for worship leading? Okay, two-part question. I'm gonna answer the last one first. Is piano theory needed for a worship leader? For a worship leader who's like in charge of the entire group, I would say definitely you have to have some form of like theory, because you're not just playing by yourself, you're actually leading the entire group of people, and I think there should be theory knowledge for that. However, if you're just a beginner and you're starting to play worship, I would say, you know, learn the chords and learn pretty styles. That is all you need to know. And then you can add the suspended chords and the slash chords and the pretty things. But honestly, like, you know, I know there's like circle of fifths and all these like fancy theory things. I would just say chords, and that's what you would see in my basic piano course actually. It's just the keys, the chords, and the pretty playing patterns. And that's all it is. And you can play any song you want, which is really cool. So yeah, that's what I would suggest. I wouldn't suggest too much theory, but if you are like the main worship leader and you're telling other musicians what to play, and I would definitely suggest knowing at least like, you know, harmonizing and, you know, things like that. But honestly, it depends on the church, because some churches, they really don't have all the professional people on the team. So that kind of depends too. I'm actually gonna go back to that part 8 of that question, is any practice methods or exercises for beginning piano worship leaders. I would say your biggest piano exercise is literally to just be alone in your room. If you could get a keyboard into your room, that would be like the best option. Because I've had time when I practiced at home on the piano that was in the living room, and then after I bought a keyboard, I tried out playing in my room alone, and that changed everything for me. Because when you're alone and you're playing piano, but you're actually like reading the word and worshiping, that is like the best form of exercise. I can't stress that enough. For worship leaders who play piano at church, the best thing you can do is worship alone in your room. Read the word, pray aloud, just play the piano, even if it's just 2 chords, like you're playing C, F, C, F, and you just practice that out. That is the best thing, the best piece of advice that I could give to a beginning worship leader. All right, going to the next question. Any recommendations of pieces to learn for a beginner? Definitely. So there's a lot of songs that are in the key of C, and you know, I think How Great Is Our God is in the key of C. I need to check actually. Amazing Grace, super simple song. Yeah, those 2, How Great Is Our God and Amazing Grace, I think would be those 2 go-to songs that I would recommend for you to learn first. And going on to the next, how to play with confidence and not getting nervous. Because all of the time I was like that. Okay, so someone's saying how to play with confidence and not get nervous. So I'm gonna break it for you that when you play on stage, you're gonna be nervous at first. And honestly, I don't think there's any supernatural way to just like get rid of that unless really God supernaturally gives you that ability to not be nervous. But I think If you think of anything that a human does first, there's always this like natural instinct of survival that kicks in, and you just start getting stressed and anxious. And so I think if you were to try anything new, your body would react in that way. And so if you are nervous, I would say just appreciate that your body has this mechanism of survival, and just know that the more often you're going to be doing that thing, or the more often you're going to be performing, the more often you're going to be on stage, your body is going to stop that anxiety, and that reflex of I'm on stage, there's people looking at me, I have to be nervous. It's eventually going to go away because it's going to become normal for you. The number one thing that I would suggest for that is to go on stage after the service. So when everyone is leaving, and you could just sit at the piano and practice. And you're gonna make it a habit to kind of be on stage, especially when most people are out. You can stay and see if your church allows that. You can stay and play the piano on stage. There's something about that where your body really gets used to your surroundings and it becomes sort of normal to be up there. But that's actually what really helped me. Is coming on weekdays to the church and just kind of playing on stage and singing. And then at the end of service, when people were kind of not paying attention, I would go up and practice too. So those two things is what I would really recommend to get your body more used to being on stage. And obviously, before you start a worship set, just close your eyes and be like, wow, Lord, this is all about you. I could be in, this is almost the same as being in my room and worshiping you, except now I'm on stage worshiping you and leading others to worship you. It's just, once you just really calm down and realize who this is for, and that God is so pleased with watching you worship and sing, and He gave you the voice, and just realizing that makes you more comfortable. But then again, nervousness is kind of it always happens for beginners. So I hope that helps. Wow, I think this video is actually a little too long. So I'm gonna have to split this up into 2 videos as well. So stay tuned. The next video, I will do another one answering all your questions, just because I kind of didn't realize how many questions there were. So thanks for watching this, and I'll see you in the next Q&A video.